Does anyone else feel like playing on random teams is useless because no one will go for the objective?
Bro, you sound so fat.
So Season 4 drops and Infinity Ward tries to hit me with this new gun called the CR-56 AMAX or some shit like that. That's not this, I don't know what that is, but I know what it is. It's the Galil. Yes, the Galil from Black Ops 1. Boy, did I have some fun with that thing. From days gone by, 5,600 kills with this bad boy back in 2010. I tell you, if I had a nickel for every kill I got with this weapon, I'd have more money than I've made in 10 years on YouTube, but now I know you're looking at that FAMAS at the top of the leaderboard there. That is technically my weapon with the most kills, I guess. But you know what? Everyone used the FAMAS back in 2010. In fact, I'd probably argue that there was just as many hands laid on the FAMAS as there was my ex-girlfriend back in the day, which subsequently coined her the nickname Janice the FAMAS because everyone was using her. And much like you unlocked the FAMAS at level 4, during period 4 you would find her behind Floyd Robinson Library getting absolutely reloaded, that's for sure. But enough about my grade 6 days, we gotta get back on topic here. Today we're gonna push the Galil to the limit and run it through a bunch of tests and see if this gun has the bin mucking potential that it did 10 years ago. Let's not waste any more time, let's get right into the thick. So first of all, let's see if this thing packs as much as a punch as it did back in the day. We're going to do some close range damage test here. To the limbs, we're going to be doing 35 points of damage. Same to the lower body, 35 as well. Moving on to the chest area, we've got 42 points of damage. And coming in hot here, the price is wrong, bitch. We got 56 points of damage. So up close and personal with the Galil, it's going to be a 3-shot kill unless you land 2 headshots, making it a 2-headshot kill. Now I took it upon myself to bring in the M4 and the Grau just because I feel those are the most popular assault rifles. So here we can see them compared against these two weapons. So the Galil has a 1-shot advantage over these two popular assault rifles as they require 4 and 3 shots to kill. The Galil is 3 and 2. The Grau and the M4 have the exact same damage, I did not know that. Let's check out medium range now for the Galil. We're going to be doing 32 points of damage to the limbs. Lower body gets 32. The upper chest is different now with 40 and a headshot with the 51. So at medium range, the limbs and the lower body are going to go down to a 4-shot kill. The chest actually stays at a 3-shot kill, and as well as the head stays at a 2-shot kill. So those two don't get affected by the increase of range. The M4 and the Grau basically have the same damage again. You can see the limbs and the lower body follow suit, requiring 1 more shot to kill. But the chest and head just get absolutely shit on by the Galil, requiring a total of 2 shots extra to kill. That's significant, very significant. Let's do the last one here at long range, firing off to the kneecaps, 28 points of damage. You guessed it, 28 to the lower body, of course. The chest, we're going to do 33. And finally, the headshot is going to be a 45. So this time at long range, the lower body and the limbs are going to stay a 4-shot kill. The chest moves up to a 4-shot, and the head also moves up 1 to a 3-shot kill. The M4 and the Grau kind of follow a similar pattern. Everything moves up to a 6-shot minus the headshot, which stays at a 4-shot kill. So seeing all the damage charts at other ranges, I'm liking what the Galil's bringing to the table, I'm not going to lie. It's very reminiscent of its slow rate of fire, high packing punch back in Black Ops 1, but this is just one category. We gotta move on to the range. Because what is damage without range, let's be honest here. Gonna try to bust Price's kneecaps wide open, but that's not gonna work. But I've got the sweet spot here. I take 1 step up, and all of a sudden, boom, 1-shot kill. This is the medium range threshold, locked in at 24 meters. Now let's try to find the gap between the medium range and the long range. Same situation here, take a shot, doesn't kill him. Take 1 cock length step forward at 41 meters. There we got it, the medium to long range threshold. Now I always like to visualize these ranges using everyone's favorite line of sight on Shoot House, standing up top of the bunker over the wall in spawn. Here with the Galil you can see the close range, it's kind of small, it doesn't really extend into the big open middle area. However, the medium range is going to cover that middle area, and anything beyond the medium range is going to be long range obviously. Now comparing it to the M4, there's not too much of a difference, but the M4 does have a few meters on it for sure. But take a look at this, hold on to your shorts because this is pretty crazy. The Grau range is much longer than these two weapons. I mean, this diagram just straight up makes it look like I'm using the middle urinal at a Cleveland Cavs game. But nevertheless, maybe I should show you some actual numbers here. With the Galil, we got 24 meters to enter into medium range, 41 to enter into long, and those are the shots required to kill at those respective ranges. So I don't know, I was kind of flabbergasted that the Galil, the short, shooting, hard-hitting assault rifle, had the shortest range of these assault rifles, but when we take a step into the next section, which will be time to kill, this may make sense because what I'm about to show you might make you cream your jeans. Get a towel, folks, it's gonna get sloppy. So time to kill is really the bee's knees of weapon stats. You know, it's how quick you can actually kill someone. But first we have to calculate the rate of fire. So with the Galil here, we can see we're shooting 30 rounds in 2.77 seconds. Doing some quick math, we can roughly determine that we have about a 650 rounds per minute fire rate for the Galil. Doing the same with the other weapons, we can determine all of the rate of fires for these weapons. The Galil has the slowest rate of fire, that's no surprise there, and of course the M4 has the highest. So how do these fire rates and the damage we previously discussed affect the time to kill? Well, I took it upon myself to draw some nice pretty pictures for us. So here we've got the three ranges, close, medium, and long range, and let's compare the Galil with the M4 first off. Take a look at this. Anything that's purple means the Galil has a faster time to kill than the M4, so close range, medium range, long range, no matter where you hit them, the Galil will always kill faster than the M4 if you hit all of your bullets. Yes, for standard multiplayer, the Galil is a machine. Now this is for regular multiplayer. I took it upon myself to do the Warzone body charts as well. Here we can see some color, but not too much change at all. Close range is the only one that differs. If most of your bullets hit to the head, both of these guns will kill basically at the same time. However, up close, if most of the bullets are hitting the limbs, the M4 finally will kill faster. This is the only situation in which the M4 will take down an enemy quicker than the Galil. Now switching gears to the Grau, we get the exact same situation in standard multiplayer. The Galil will be able to take down enemies quicker than the Grau at any situation, at any range, as long as of course you're landing all your shots. Now for Warzone, much like the M4, if most of your bullets are going to hit the limbs up close, the Grau will actually be the quicker weapon to kill. But the head stays to the Galil this time, so a minor difference, but yeah, the Galil is kicking some serious ass. It is bringing some heat to this fight. You know, I love to see it standing up for itself after its long, rich history in Black Ops, but let's not forget, we just discussed the range section, and the Grau had a much longer range than the Galil. So even though the Galil is going to outperform in its respective range, the ranges for the Galil are shorter than the Grau. So the Galil is going to enter, say, from close range to medium range quicker than the Grau, which means that that time to kill advantage we just discussed is going to be diminished, if you will. So there within lies the true balance between these weapons. So the time to kill, the range, the damage really encompasses the whole aspect of weapon balancing in Call of Duty. But there is just a few minor things I want to talk about just to say we covered the whole board. So let's get into recoil, because what good is time to kill if you can't even land shots? So let's just take a quick look here and see what happens. Now, although the Grau's recoil is basically just straight up, it has a lot of visual recoil, kind of like the M4. The Grau is really good for basically having no screen recoil, if that makes sense. I know the Galil definitely is easier to control than the M4, that is much clearer to see. I really like the Galil's pattern. It's straight up, straight down. To be honest, I don't know what the M4 is doing. It did not bring its A game today. Look at that fat piece of shit curve. Not impressed with the M4 at all here, but the Galil came in with 19,000 square pixels. The Grau, a little bit less. These could be attributed to testing errors, but one thing is for sure, the M4 is out to lunch. Someone get it a map, it is just running amok all over the place. So yeah, the M4 clearly has more recoil, but between the Grau and the Galil, the only real difference is the Galil extends vertically just a little bit, whereas the Grau is more of a horizontal recoil. So that's just going to come down to personal preference. I like it as straight as possible, I know, for my recoil patterns. But there's just one last thing to talk about, and this one's a quickie, so if you're still watching, let's just burn through this last one. So let's check the mobility of these two weapons, in other words, the aim down sight speeds for each of these weapons. This one's kind of surprising. So we've got the 1 speed, which is just going to be your standard sprint, or your standard aim down sight time. Kind of hard to see, but the Grau actually takes the advantage here. It has the quickest aim down sight of the 3 guns. I think that's expected. The Grau is a pretty mobile gun, as we all know by now. But take a look at this. This is the tactical sprint out time, only to be used when running down 5th Avenue from the NYPD. And I mean, we're really splitting hairs here. The naked eye cannot see a difference between these aim down sight time, but the math and the slow-mo and the details show that the Galil actually has the quickest sprint out time speed when using a tactical sprint, but just kind of interesting, it went from the slowest to the quickest depending on which type of sprint you're using. And with that being said, that concludes the Galil weapon analysis. So let's do a little recap here, starting off with damage. The Galil came out swinging for the fences, just clapping cheeks, taking one less bullet, most times taking 2 less bullets to kill than these other popular assault rifles. But maybe it came out a bit too strong because we got to the range section and there wasn't much to write home about, that's for sure. Not good range at all, especially when compared to the Grau. I mean, it was basically like comparing a Piss Stream to a Super Soaker 5000. Not what you want to see in the Galil. But it bounced back quick with the time to kill section, basically extinguishing any doubts I had about the superiority of this weapon. Here is where I discovered that the M4 is shit when compared to the Galil. You should never use the M4 again if you have the Galil. However, the Grau was still a contender, and as we moved on to the recoil section, we saw the Grau take the cake here. A little bit less recoil, however I do like the recoil pattern of the Galil, even if it does technically have just a little bit more kick. The M4, forget that shit, that was a joke, don't even talk to me anymore about the M4. Let's move on to the mobility here. You gotta give the Grau the advantage. It had a significantly quicker ADS speed just from normal use. The Galil had a better one with the tactical sprint, but let's be honest, you're not tactical sprinting too often, so a very close matchup between the Galil and the Grau. I'm torn. I'm very excited to unlock the Galil and actually be able to use it. This was all done in private match. I don't have it unlocked yet, but until then, I'm gonna have to wait to get 5,600 more kills with it. This time in 2020, not in 2010. So until then, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.